Okay, so it is 1 o'clock. I think since we still have more members of our committee and staff joining us, maybe we'll give it till 1:01 before we get started. Perfect. Okay, so I think we're good to get going. I'll just start by asking Ms. Fawcett if she could.
People say like, "Oh, I hear you're off. Congratulations."
Oh, sorry, Madam Chair, through you. Thank you very much. Welcome everyone to this afternoon's Housing and Homelessness Advisory Committee meeting. I can confirm that we do have quorum. Currently absent are Councillor Doherty and Tara Everett. Joining us from staff are Heather Scranage, Manager of Housing and Homelessness, Ruth Nordegraff, Director of Housing and Social Services, Joanne Boris, Housing Program Administrator, John Henderson, Housing Program Administrator, and Nicola Reed is also a Housing Program Administrator. I am Elizabeth Fawcett. I am the committee clerk, and Ian Sullivan is joining us as host. And Madam Chair, through you, we had discussed earlier, just to let the committee know that for their awareness, we do have a special council meeting this evening at 6 o'clock. That meeting is being called to discuss the matters relating to the encampments. And just for the committee's awareness, this meeting will be open to the public and can be viewed on the Kingston City Council YouTube channel. With that, Madam Chair, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you very much for that, Ms. Fawcett, and thank you also. Ms. White had reached out regarding that as well, so we wanted to make sure that that was known for the whole committee here today. So we will get going. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being with us today on this spectacularly sunny day. Fantastic weather out there, and I appreciate all of our volunteers with us and all of the staff that are with us, as well as any members of the public that might be with us. So we will call the meeting to order, and we'll begin with the approval of the agenda. So everybody has received the agenda from Ms. Fawcett. If there are any questions, please let me know. Okay, if I could have a first for the agenda. Thank you, Mr. Clark, and Ms. McCarty. You're good to be our second for the agenda. Lovely. And if I could have a show of hands for all in favor. Thank you so much. So that passes unanimously. So we'll move over to the confirmation of the minutes. So everybody as well received the minutes from our last meeting. If there is any discussion regarding the minutes. Okay, and if there is not any discussion needed, if I could please have a first, thank you, Councillor Neal. And if I could have a second, thank you, Ms. McCarty. And if I could have a show of hands for all in favor for the motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Thank you, everybody. So that also passes with no opposition. So we will move over to disclosure of pecuniary interest. If there is any amongst our committee members, if you could please indicate so now. All right, great. We'll move over to delegations. We have no registered delegations for today's meeting. And then the next item on our agenda is briefings, and there are no briefings for this meeting, but there are business items. So business item A is the 2022 committee work plan, which I know we have both Ms. Nordegraff as well as Ms. Scranage with us today. So I am not sure if one of them will be presenting regarding the attached committee work plan that we received. So I think I will hand it over to Ms. Nordegraff or Ms. Scranage.
Thank you. So yes, we have the work plan here to present today. We will run through the items that we propose to include in our work plan as shown in Schedule A. So as per usual, we'll have a standing report for each meeting discussing the ongoing business. We will be bringing back at the next meeting a report indicating the events of our Housing Now event, which is actually being held tomorrow, May 13th, from the Mayor's Task Force on Housing. We will also try to bring back an update on the encampment protocol that may change based on the outcomes of tonight's special meeting. But we will look to bring something back to committee on that. Further on in the year, we will be looking to bring information related to rent evictions to the committee, as well as the end of mortgages and end of operating agreements. We also will be undertaking youth homelessness service procurements, and we'll bring a report to council to committee on that, as well as the along with the end of mortgages and end of agreements, we'll have some updates on the Housing Services Act updates that have been recently announced. And then we will have a update on affordable housing development incentives after some work that's going on presently, a study. And then we'll bring other affordable housing program updates as needed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And if there is nothing else to be added to that, was there anything else that you had wanted to say, Ms. Nordegraf, or?
Thank you, Madam Chair. No, through you, I think that was a great summary. I know there's a lot of conversation happening, but nothing else to add. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so for this next section, so what we will do is committee will now have the opportunity to ask questions regarding that business item. And then following committee's questions, I will then ask Ms. Fawcett if we have anyone from the public who also has questions or comments. And then they will have an opportunity to speak for 5 minutes each. At the end of the public questions is when all of the answers will be done. So sort of together in one go. That way, any appropriate staff members can note down any of the questions that come up. So I will start now by asking in regards to business item A, is there any questions from this committee? Thank you. So seeing none, if I could check in with you, Ms. Fawcett, if we have anyone from the public who might have questions or comments.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, we do have 2 members of the public with us today. So I'm just going to ask them if they have any questions that they would like to ask regarding the work plan. If you could please raise your hand in Zoom so that we may call on you. This is located in the center of the Zoom window when you move your mouse over the screen. I'll just do a final call for those who are joining us. If you'd like to ask any questions or provide comment on the business item, please raise your hand. And I'm not seeing any at this time, Madam Chair.
Perfect. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for being with us, to the members of the public that are with us as well. That's appreciated. Okay, so then we will move forward with the recommendation, which is that the Housing and Homelessness Advisory Committee recommends to the Council that the 2022 Housing and Homelessness Advisory Committee Work Plan, attached as Exhibit A to report number HHAC 22006, be approved. If I could have a first. Thank you, Ms. Smith. If I could have a second. Thank you, Ms. Crete. And if I could have a show of hands for all in favor. Thank you. So that passes unanimously. So we'll move forward to business item B. And there is not a presentation for this business item. It is simply our Housing and Homelessness Advisory Committee report card for the past year, for 2021. So you will have received that as well with your package from Ms. Fawcett. Are there any questions regarding that report card, which is essentially a summary of what we tackled in the year 2021 as an advisory committee? Okay, and I don't see any questions or comments from our committee members. So I will again ask Ms. Fawcett, are there any members of the public present who might have a question or comment regarding business item B?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, I'm just going to ask one last time if there are members of the public who wish to ask any questions at this time, please raise your hand in Zoom. And we don't have any hands, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. So then we will proceed with the recommendation, which is that the Housing and Homelessness Advisory Committee recommends to Council that the 2021 Housing and Homelessness Advisory Committee report card be approved as a summary of the work accomplished by the committee. And if I could have a first. Thank you very much, Ms. McCarty. And if I could have a second. Thank you, Ms. White. And thank you also, Councillor Neal. I think I saw your hand there too. And if I could have a show of hands for all in favor. Thank you so much. So that passes as well unanimously. So that's great. I know we had a lot of paper there to read and review, and I appreciate everybody doing so in advance. And thank you to staff for preparing both that committee work plan, as well as to Ms. Fawcett, who helped me prepare our report card for the year 2021. So we will move forward now with the next item on the agenda, which is item number 8, motions. There were no other motions on the agenda. And number 9, notices of motion. There were no notices of motion made for the next meeting. Okay, and then number 10, other business. Councillor Neal, I see your hand. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Just a quick background to the special council meeting that was called for tonight.
Thank you.
There was a plan of eviction for the tent community that's kind of grown up around the independent care hub. And we received dozens and dozens of letters protesting the idea of evicting people when we have nowhere else for them to go. So the eviction, the concern was that they would be evicted and they would end up being scattered throughout the city with their tents in other locations. And there is a certain amount of care that's given because of their proximity to the care hub. So both Councillor Stroud and myself proposed motions to deal with that for the 17th, for the council meeting on the 17th. The mayor and the clerk informed us that the problem with that is that this is time sensitive, and therefore the mayor called a special meeting for tonight at 6. The agenda is out, as well as the motions that were proposed. So I would encourage people to try to attend the special council meeting tonight. You can also request delegation status and feel free to suggest my name as being the councillor that would approve that, that would propose that. So that's where we're at, and I strongly recommend if you have an opportunity to speak or to attend the meeting, that would be great. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Councillor Neal. We really appreciate that. Thank you. And Ms. Nordegraff, I see your hand.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And without, I don't know, we're not necessarily discussing the item at this meeting, but I just was, if the committee permits, I would kind of want to build on what Councillor Neal just shared, because I think it's important for the committee to know that we have a approved encampment protocol that is kind of the vehicle for staff bylaw, etc., to kind of continue to move people along. That protocol was lifted due to the significant Omicron outbreaks in the shelter system and encampments in the fall, as you all probably remember. And of course, you can also appreciate that risk has been, reduced. So it really is, kind of a continuation of the protocol as we have been working on between April and November. So I know tonight will be a conversation around kind of the next steps, because no eviction notices were provided to any campers. It was purely just we need to start continuing the protocol as it has been in place up until now. So I just wanted to add that, yes, I'm sure there will be a lot of conversation tonight on that very important and very complex topic, because there are lots of different kind of components to that conversation. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And since that was a new business item that was brought up, I know it's not really business of this meeting, but if anybody else has any other comment or wants to say anything more on that. Ms. Crete, please go ahead. Oh, you're still muted. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Crete, you're muted. You go, perfect.
Okay, so could I have the information again as to how to access tonight's meeting? Was it Kingston City Hall?
So I think it would be great if Ms. Fawcett, if you could send that around to the full committee, that would be perfect.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, through you just as well for the members of the public who may be watching this at this time. It is also live streamed on the Kingston City Council YouTube channel, and it can be accessed just by going to that channel on YouTube, and it will be the first video up because it will be live, but I will be sure to send that around to the committee members as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Sorry, I didn't say Madam Chair.
No, I wouldn't notice. Those are my rules.
Okay.
No problem. No problem, Madame Crete. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so if there is not anything else or any other new business items that anybody wants to bring up, then we'll move forward. The next item on the agenda was correspondence. We did not have any correspondence for this meeting. And then the next item on our agenda is regarding the date of the next meeting. So the next meeting of the Housing and Homelessness Advisory Committee is scheduled to be on Thursday, July the 14th at 1 p.m. And then moving forward, our last item on the agenda is our adjournment. So if I could have a first, please. Thank you, Ms. McCordy. And if I could have a second. Thank you, Ms. Smith. And if I could see a show of hands, all in favor of adjournment. Thank you very much. Have a lovely afternoon. And thank you, Councillor Neal. I will be watching